Hey everybody. Hey everybody. I have to laugh. Strange things happen on the way into the show today. Welcome to the Book of Sean. I got a great show for you tonight. My sister Amarachi is here, and let's talk about what happens when love doesn't work out. That's where my sister finds herself tonight. She's got a story to tell. It's an interesting journey. You do not want to miss this because nobody ever plans for the divorce when you're sitting at the wedding. But sometimes that's where you end up, right? And that's where she is. She's in the middle of going through that process. I want to talk to her about what does it feel like? What is that experience like? What's it been like for her? How is she keeping it together? What has she learned from it all? Because I know there's some deep wisdom she has to share, both to me and to all of us as we watch this show tonight, to learn from a woman and to hear from a woman who is in the middle of the fight. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to talk to somebody who's come through it or going in it, but she's right in the middle. And Amarachi, she's going to be fine tonight. Can't wait to talk to her about this incredible story. We're going to do some Ask Dr. Sean, and we're going to do some headlines because that's how we always start. So let's do some headlines. Play the bumper, Hailey. So. There's a lot going on in America, people, and we're going to cover a lot of it today. But there's a lot going on in America, not the least of which is, if you've been following the news, you recently read how the governor of the state of Oklahoma signed a bill that banned the use of non-binary gender markers on birth certificates for people who do not identify with traditional male and female gender assignments. And I'm sure now you're sitting there in your little kitchen or you're in your bedroom or in your, wherever you're watching the show on the couch with your shoes off, and your sweet potato pie and your nice drink, and you're probably thinking to yourself, so what? Well, you should probably care about this story. Let me tell you why. It means that babies born in Oklahoma will not be designated anything non-binary. They'll either be male or female, and that's it. No matter what the parents think about that, and if it's an adult, no matter what the adult thinks about that. You see, here it is. Republicans claim to be big on the issue of having government not interfere in people's lives. But isn't this an example of government interfering into people's lives and personal decisions? If parents decide that they want their kids to be identified as non-binary on their birth certificate, whether you agree with it or not, isn't that the parents' right? Don't parents have the right to decide what they want their children to be defined as, described as, irrespective of how I feel about it or how you feel about it? You follow what I'm saying? And again, this isn't about whether or not you agree. You don't have to agree. Your agreement is not necessary, or my agreement is not necessary for somebody to have the right to do something. And if a parent decides that that's how they want to identify their children, or if an adult decides that that's how they want to identify, don't they have the right in this country to do that? I'm confused. I thought this was America, where you kind of had the right to sort of express yourself and to manifest yourself the way you wanted to. And that's why I think the story is so important, is that since when does government have the right to tell people how they get to show up in the world? Since when does a state legislator and a governor get to decide how you can show up in the world? And I need you to make this personal. You know why? Because today it's about non-binary people, and tomorrow it'll be about you. Today you can't be non-binary on a birth certificate, and tomorrow you won't be able to be black on a birth certificate. And don't think it's a stretch, because if they come for non-binary people, you know they'll come for you next. You see, people ought to have the right to show up in the world the way they want to show up in the world. Yeah, it's a fundamental right, and it makes absolute sense to me. It's called gateway behavior. And gateway behavior is when people start doing things in incremental ways that take rights away, and ultimately they get around to the moment and the opportunity to take more rights from more people. We should stand up for the non-binary community. We should. We should stand up for the non-binary community, because before it's all over, they're going to be coming after you. Let's move on. I'll let you think about that one. Let's talk about procrastination. Amarachi, how are you with procrastination? I'm terrible with it, by the way. I am terrible with procrastination. So listen to this. In Tokyo, There's a cafe called the Manuscript Writing Cafe, and it welcomes writers in facing deadlines with an agreement. And when you come to the cafe, you cannot leave the premises until your work is finished. And so the cafe has reserved seating for writers and editors and artists and anyone grappling with a deadline. And when you come in, you have to write down your name, you have to write down the goal of whatever you're trying to produce and the time you need to have it in, when you plan to finish, and then the workers come around and check up on you to make sure that you get it done. Okay? Now, I admit that this probably would not work in America because somebody would end up getting in a fight. In America, when people hold somebody accountable for deadlines, there's always an argument or a cussing out, somebody throwing drinks or something. It would end up messy in this country. But when I saw this story, I thought, listen, if you think or thought COVID-19 was a pandemic, it's nothing compared to the disease of procrastination. The biggest disease in this country, one of the biggest diseases, is procrastination. Say amen if you're with me, okay? Because raise your hand if you can think of something right now that you are procrastinating on and you know you need to get done. I got, literally, let me be transparent. Amarachi, listen to this. Let me be transparent. I have dishes in my sink right now. While I'm on this show right now, there are dishes in my sink that I should have washed days ago. And there's no reason I didn't wash them. No reason at all. Procrastination, okay? Yeah, I mean, just think about how easy it is in this country and the degree to which we are distracted and we procrastinate on things we know we should do. In fact, most of the people you know, just bear witness for this, most of the people you know can't focus. Most of the people you know don't know how to focus. We have lost the ability in this country to focus and get things done. Every 35 seconds, we're looking at this. Every 35 seconds, we got the alerts on, we get emails, text messages, direct messages, all kinds of things going on. You know what I'm saying? And we procrastinate because we are distracted. Okay? You know, when I was in graduate school and I was doing doctoral work, I had to leave my apartment and go to the library because I knew that if I stayed in my apartment, I would not get any work done. And I also understood that sometimes your mindset is determined by your environment. Sometimes when you're around people trying to get things done, you tend to want to get things done too. That was for free. Because what I'm really saying to you is this. I don't know what it is that you need to get done, and I don't know what it is that you need to focus on, but probably 9/10 of the game has to do with the people and the environment you happen to be in. So whatever it is you're trying to do, you need to be around other people who are trying to get something done. And spending most of your time around people who ain't doing nothing, ain't trying to do nothing, and ain't focusing on nothing, it's going to rub off on you eventually. And a lot of us can bear witness to the fact that we would probably be 5 years ahead in our career if we had not procrastinated 5 years ago. Come on, y'all, talk to me, because you know I'm doing my good talking. The reality is, when it's all said and done, that sometimes you need accountability. And not just accountability when you do wrong. Hear me when I say this to you. Sometimes you need accountability when you're trying to do something great. Ooh, that was good. Let's move on now, because I get to preaching and then Amarachi won't ever get on the show. All right, let's talk about this student in Texas. I don't know if you heard this story. This is such an interesting story. So check this out. A Texas student was awarded $90,000 after being forced to write the Pledge of Allegiance. Did you hear about this? So in September of 2017, Marie Oliver was given an assignment at the Klein Oak High School by her teacher to transcribe the words of the Pledge of Allegiance. She refused to do it. Her teacher, Benji Arnold, whose photo we just showed apparently, ridiculed her and compared this teacher compared this little girl, this high school student, and the fact that she didn't want to write the pledge. This teacher said that people who don't want to say the Pledge of Allegiance are like communists. They are like Islamic people who impose Sharia law. And check this out. This teacher said that she, because she did not want to say the Pledge of Allegiance, was acting like people who condone pedophilia. What? What in the world? So, Marie Oliver, to her credit, sued the Texas Association of School Boards and they awarded her that little girl right there, they awarded her $90,000. And they should have awarded her more, by the way. How in the world are you going to say this because somebody doesn't want to write the Pledge of Allegiance that they are akin to people who condone pedophilia or communists or want to impose Sharia law? Huh? But here again, it represents the hypocrisy of conservatives that I've been trying to tell you ever since I started doing this show. So the government can't make you get a vaccine, but now you want to make other people say pledges that they don't want to say. You don't see a contradiction? You don't see a cognitive dissonance with that? So nobody can put anything in your body, Mr. and Mrs. Conservative, but you want to put a belief in my heart. So now I have to say the pledge, but you don't have to get a vaccine. I mean, the hypocrisy is just right. And there's a whole lot of things I can say that would probably get me put off television, so I'm not going to say them. But you know what I'm thinking, right? This is just rank, cheap hypocrisy. How you gonna make a little girl say pledge allegiance to something that she may not believe or may not want to pledge allegiance to? You follow me? In America, you have the right not to say the Pledge of Allegiance if that's not what you believe. Huh? Conservatives are banning books because they are exposing children to race, but they want to make other people's children pledge allegiance to a flag. Listen. If you're a little confused and you're wondering about what I'm thinking, let me give it to you straight. The only thing I pledge allegiance to is God. That's it. God is the only thing I pledge allegiance. I mean, the only thing I pledge allegiance to. Everything else is up for discussion. The only one who gets my undivided, unmitigated, uncompromising allegiance is the living God, the creator of the universe. Everything else is up for discussion. The flag, the everything. The Bible, I know that caught you off guard. The Bible's up for discussion because the Bible and God are not the same thing. I know, that's too much for y'all. So let me keep going. I got one more before I bring up my sister. Listen to this, all right? There's a British lawmaker who recently had to resign. Check this out. Neil Parish resigned from the House of Commons after admitting that he watched porn in Parliament. The member of Parliament told the BBC that the first time he watched explicit material in Parliament was by accident because he was online searching for farm vehicles. I don't understand the association between farm vehicles and porn, but apparently there is one. But the second time he did it, he admitted that he did it intentionally. Raise your hand if you think that Mr. Parish is probably not the only member of Parliament in Great Britain looking at porn in the middle of Parliament. Just raise your hand if you think he's probably not the only one. And let me just say this. If Mr. Parish was an American politician, first of all, he would not have resigned, but he probably would have gone up in the polls the minute he admitted that he's watching porn in the United States Congress. Because I happen to think, I have no evidence, I happen to think I have no proof, I happen to think that there are probably quite a few members of Congress, or both on the Senate and the House of Representatives, who are looking at things they ain't supposed to be looking at while they sitting at them desks. I just know America. I know Americans and I know American politicians, okay? And I promise you, everybody ain't looking at the Constitution on their phones. But people are doing some strange things at work, don't you think? I mean, people are doing, Jeffrey Toobin, allegedly showing people his private part. I mean, people are doing some strange things that, I said allegedly, they're doing some strange things at work, okay? And if you want to watch porn, I'm totally fine with that. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Grown folks do what grown folks do. But how about we not do it at work? You know what I'm saying? How about we decide that whatever you like to do with respect to that, you do in the privacy of your home, okay? You shouldn't be ashamed if you like to watch porn. There's nothing wrong with that. But you should have a bit more decorum and self-respect not to be doing it at work. That's not a good idea, people, okay? Let me put it this way. That's what we call private behavior. And you do private behavior in private, because that's what makes it private behavior, okay? But in this country, we don't understand the distinction anymore. More and more people are doing private behavior in public, and they think it's okay. And they're wondering why everybody's not okay with it. Because we don't want to see that. We don't want to know that much about you. What you do in your home is your business, but what you do in public space should have a different standard, don't you think? Don't you think that what people do in public should have a different standard than what they do in the privacy of their own homes? How have we lost our way on this? Call me old-fashioned, okay? Call me old-fashioned. I'm willing to accept it. But I still believe that your private life should be your private life. Okay? Unless you want to share your private life with people, and that's your right to do. But I just happen to believe that there's a little thing called too much sharing. We should never lie or be hypocritical about who we are. We should tell the truth about who we are. But there are some things about you that I just don't want to know. All right, my friends. Woo! Let's take a break. When we come back, my dear sister's here to talk to us about a journey that you won't forget. All right? And I'm going to have a little bit to say about abortion and what's going on with the Supreme Court a little later, because you've all heard about what happened last night. We got a lot of ground to cover. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. So, everybody wants to be married, huh? Everybody wants to fall in love. Everybody wants to find that special somebody. We all do, okay? On some level. Even if you don't want it anymore, you used to want it. But there's always a story behind the fantasy, right? There's always the truth behind the delusion we've been given. And my dear sister tonight, Amarachi, she's living the reality, all right? The delusion is over and she's coming into the fullness of the truth, because you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Welcome to the show tonight, Amarachi!
Hey, Dr. Sean, how are you?
I am doing very
well. First, I want to say, not a delusion. A fairy tale gone wrong.
Listen, I like that better even. I like that. So let's start there. Okay, so before you got married, tell me what you thought marriage was.
Well, I thought it was, being the baddest in the spot and being with your dude and, understanding each other and just having unspoken rules and regulations. And I thought it was like a sailboat to heaven. But that delusion, as you called it, was ripped from under the rug.
But stay in the delusion a little longer, because I think this can help. I think it can help a lot of people. Where did you get your conception of marriage from?
Well, honestly, just society. My parents divorced early, but I have a lot of friends and family whose parents were together forever and are still together to today, but you don't see those cracks in the things that probably should have made somebody leave, but they never left. So you're just thinking, oh, it's all roses. Oh, okay, they look good together. Oh, they look like they're happy. Probably going through war at home, because sometimes you mask some things, to keep on going and moving forward, but depends on the person.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So now that you've gone through this experience, what do you know marriage truly is, right? So we started out with the delusion, but what is the truth of marriage that you've discovered?
The truth of the fairy tale is it actually takes work, dedication, communication, hard work, sacrifice, compromise, lying, all types of, well, I don't want to go down that route right now. Let's keep it positive. It takes a lot of positive reinforcement to stay strong and in a happy place. I mean, people get married and be mad that same day. Like, why did I do that? I mean, I think I got slapped on my wedding day. It's just.
Whoa. Say that again?
No. Look. take that out.
Oh no, okay, yeah, cause we gonna get sued. We gonna get sued. So we can't. Right now, my producers are ready to text me. They're like,
No,
move on,
no.
keep going. Okay, so we're not gonna go there. And I was gonna ask you a question that would also get me sued. So I'm not gonna ask that. Okay.
Okay.
I gotta regroup. I gotta regroup because you really hit me with something. I was like, what? Okay, so okay, what was the hardest part? Because let's talk in general terms, because this is a way for us to talk about it without getting in any legal trouble. Okay, what was the hardest part for you?
Okay, I think for me, the hardest part was communicating in a way that the other person understands lovingly, but not communicating it the way that would be harmonious, I guess. I think people coming from two different backgrounds and two different upbringings, they see things differently. And I think communication was really the hardest part for me. It's like, why don't you know that? You know what I mean? Like, why don't you understand that? Or why do I have to say that?
Yeah.
So that could be a railroad block. Like, women, sometimes instead of arguing and fighting, we might just not say nothing. And that's negative. Oh, you already know that's inside boiling. So just to keep the peace, you hold things in, you don't communicate it, and that can be a brick road.
I'm wondering what it did to you, not to them, but to you, to be connected to someone with whom you couldn't get the communication right. How did that feel? What did it do to you?
Well, I think I have a lot of internal traumas. I mean, well, no, let me not sound like damage, even though you could be part of damage.
But hold on. I'm not sure. Hold on. But tell the truth, because there's no way you can go through the death of a marriage and there not be some trauma. So you actually it's you know me, so it's okay for you to be vulnerable and to tell that side of your truth. You're in good hands. So let's stay exactly where you were. Yes, traumas. Talk about that.
So yes, trauma, a lot of why me, why would this happen to me? And, just holding yourself to a certain standard and then, finding out that that's not how the other person sees you or holds you. And, it just can build up some anger and aggression and look, all types of volatile feelings that shouldn't be there. So, and how do you process that trauma? Like, some people go crazy, or how do you process it? Some people get gray hair, some people shut down, some people go through depression. But if you're trying to keep going and be productive, I'm a mother too, like the trauma will really hold you back, and put you in a place where it's just unhealthy for everybody.
Yeah.
So finding God, finding therapy, finding friends, I don't know.
Yeah.
Trauma is real. Then you got trauma from childhood. This is all types of trauma. Running around traumas.
No. I have great empathy for you in this. Whenever I talk to the couples that either are divorcing or have already been divorced, one of my favorite questions to ask them is this one: do you regret it at all?
Well, I don't regret. I don't regret it. I would say that because there's so many good things and blessings that came from it. Obviously, my children and the life that we once shared. But what I will say is, if you see red flags, you got to run, man. You can't. You just have to run. The first time somebody shows you who they are, I know it sounds so cliche, but it's true. Like, man, no, scratch that. Because people are not going to change, especially in this grown big age. Like, how are you going to change at 40? Like, well, I ain't 40. So, no. But I'm saying, how are you going to change when you're already matured in your thinking,
Yeah, no, no, go ahead, finish.
Yeah, so, no, that's it. It's just self-preservation of yourself and you have to be happy and in a good mental space in order to do that.
Yeah, listen, so I think we got this right. You are right now in the process of getting divorced, right?
Yes, I am. Thank you
Okay.
for breaking it to the audience, Dr. Sean.
Well, it's important for the audience to sort of know where you are in this journey. And I'm only saying that because I want to ask you this question that I think is going to actually help the audience. And that is, how is this process affecting your family, right? And don't be specific for individual members of the family, but generally speaking, how is it affecting the family?
It's tough. It's affecting a lot of the family in different ways. Obviously, each person has their opinions of what they think and how they think, and what, most people are, oh, you can just fix it, put it back together. And it's like, go back to hell. Like, go back and be unhappy. No, like, absolutely not. So they are sad, hurt, disappointed, hey, all of the negative words of emotional sorrow explains the family.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, go ahead.
See, you said something that triggered something to me. So I just want to do this because I think it will be interesting. Okay, so I'm going to play devil's advocate, okay? And you be
Okay.
you, and I'll be the devil's advocate. So if somebody said this to you, divorce is not of God. The Bible says, "Till death do you part." You say what to that?
Man, well, at this point, I say no. That's a lie. That's a lie from hell, because divorce, actually, committing adultery can invoke divorce legally under God. You know what I mean? And it ain't just one way, like, oh, just for men, and oh, it's just that's only for the woman. No, like, people need to hold themselves to a higher standard. I know God, it does say God hates divorce. And I'm sure God loves when people do work it out and can get over some things, but some things you just can't get over, and you just got to move on. Sometimes
Okay,
you can't,
hold on, because you do a good.
and I'm a Christian woman.
I know you. I know. That's why I know I can ask you these kind of questions. So okay, so you be Amarachi. I'm gonna be the devil's advocate one more time, and
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you this one. So if someone says, my grandmother they was married for 72 years. My mama was married for 42 years. They had problems. They worked it out. What's wrong with your generation that y'all can't stay together? Y'all can't stay married. What's wrong with y'all?
Look, it's hot girl winter, hot girl summer, hot girl all year round. Look, your grandma and them, I mean, I hate to say it, they probably was taking all types of crap and drama and running around town craziness, just to hold that image. But these girls these days, no, we get our own bag, we got our own things going on. You get your body done, you can get your whole life changed in a second. No, we're not going to tolerate that. We hold ourselves to a higher standard, the women of today. And I know they go like, oh gosh, here go the feminists and are coming out, seeping out. But no, I mean, we just see things differently. We can do the same things in society as men, not saying that we are the same as men, because we're not. But I mean, we can own our own homes, we can have our own careers. We don't need to put up with crap and chaos and turmoil and stress. We already stressed out enough. Women carry everything. So no, grandma, you stay with that cheating line, man. No, I'm out. I'll have to find me a new one. No.
Listen, I got to take a break, but I think that's a perfect place for all of us to consider where we are in this conversation. We'll be right back with more of this discussion about love, divorce, life after divorce, life in the middle of it, when it doesn't work out. Listen, you don't want to miss the rest of this. I'm going to be devil's advocate some more. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We're talking to Amarachi. Life, love, and divorce. Here's an interesting question for you, because I want you to be a bit more introspective, right? I want you to think a bit more saliently about your internal life. And tell me this, what do you fear the most in this process? As you go through the process of divorce, right, of moving on, I know there's some fears. What's your biggest fear in this process?
Well, my biggest fear, it probably have to be just kind of losing myself in the fight to regain myself, and just going back to equalizing my equilibrium. No, just kind of getting back to an even playing field with myself. That's really the only fear. Am I going to still feel the same way, like the same hobbies? I mean, with a little maturity, but just coming back from changing, going back to who you are as an individual with your own dreams, goals, and visions.
And do you remember who you are?
I look at pictures. I'm like, dang, okay, who is that? No. Who is that? She a baddie. I'm on the no. Yeah. Sorry, that's vanity.
No,
but
no. I mean, yes, but it is vanity. But in addition to that, it's also true, because when you've been a mom, and you've been a wife, and you've been a daughter, and you've been a sister, right? Now you're at a place in your life, and this is why this conversation is valuable for the audience, because now you're at a stage in your life where you have to be you. Those other roles now are sort of melting, fading away, right? And now you have to define and discover who you are, independent of any other relationship. If I asked you, independent of the children, of the marriage, of their parents, of their family, anybody else, who are you, independent of everybody else?
Independent of everybody else, I am a woman who deserves love and happiness, peace and joy and success. That's who I am.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And I'm wondering this, though. I'm wondering, when love dies, what do you say to God?
Well, I feel like in this process, my relationship with God has gotten stronger and stronger, and I can just see the progress every day and growing that relationship and taking it more serious, because you have many crying nights. But
Wait. And that's what I'm trying to get to. And on the crying nights, what do you say to God?
Lord, help me, carry me through, and help me make the right decisions through the pain. I mean, because you could just make all the wrong decisions. You could just go wrong and keep going wrong. So, kind of getting that spiritual guidance towards, what's next and what's good for me. You know what I mean? What do you have in store for me? And you ask more, you pray more, and I feel like it's really helped me and has grown me into a better person already,
No,
a better wife.
Yeah. No, I'm glad.
I'm better new wife.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad I asked you that question, because I think that there's a lot to that. There's a lot to the notion of what do you say in the face of that, when that you fear the most has come upon you. How do you look in the mirror, and how do you look to something greater than you? I know tonight, I can't let you go tonight without asking you, what's your advice to women? What's your advice to women who may find themselves where you are, or who may one day find themselves where you are?
Well, I hope they don't find themselves where I am. I hope you find someone who loves you and treats you the way you want to be treated and to be treated. But if you don't, I would just tell women you're worth it. Pick up and get on. Like, life is short and life is long. So you don't want to be longly stressed, but you want to live long in happiness and jubilation. And I would just tell women to focus on you. You deserve love. You deserve a good man. And look at Sierra. Look. I know everybody gonna call Russell Sierra. Okay. But we deserve more. We deserve a lot. We do a lot. We should get a lot. We should be rewarded for our good efforts and our good blessings that God has given us, that we distribute, and then we need to gain a return.
Yeah. No. Reciprocity is important, right? You have to get something out of the relationship. And it's not just marriage; it's every relationship that you're in, right? Would you agree with that? You should have reciprocity in everything.
Yep, I agree with that. Everything you put in, you're gonna get back. When that's the Bible too, heck, You reap what you sow.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that goes with this, but I mean, it's all encompassed in one. Yeah, get it back what you give out.
So here's a question for you. Generally speaking, don't be specific for reasons you already know why. Tell me something that you would never do again.
I would never. I don't know. I can't say never to anything, but because I am getting remarried, so I ain't gonna say I'll never get married again. I'm not that scarred.
You want to get married again? Wait. You want to be married again?
Yeah.
So you still believe in love? You still believe in love? Tell me why. Tell me why.
Dr. Shaw, because love is out there. I mean, ain't nobody in the 7 billion world able to love me. That would be a delusion that I would tell myself. You know, I think I'm a good, positive person. I think I deserve that. And love is God. Love is what makes the world go round. I guess, besides money. But love takes you far.
No. I listen. I got to let you go, but I affirm that. I'm always impressed with people who've come through very difficult times and situations in their lives, and yet they still believe, right, in the thing that they failed at. They still believe in the thing that they didn't win at. That takes a lot of courage. That takes a lot of bravery, and I admire you for that. I really do. I'm almost certain that whatever the future is for you, that you're going to be fine. You have a big personality. You have a very broad presentation of who you are, and I pray that you will meet someone who will be able to handle that, love that, value that, cherish that, and give back to you, so that you'll be able to say, yes, God, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. Yeah, absolutely. Amarachi, thank you for being on tonight. Listen, everybody, when I come back, we're going to do some Ask Dr. Sean. And for everybody who is still, coming through it, still fighting through it, you keep going, okay? Because just because it didn't work out with them doesn't mean it won't work out with somebody else. We'll be right back right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Before we do Ask Dr. Sean, let's talk about what we learned last night from the Supreme Court. A draft memo up from the Supreme Court decision about abortion, which is expected to be announced in June, was leaked last night. If you've been watching the news all day, you know it appears that the Supreme Court seems poised to overturn Roe versus Wade, denying millions of women the right to decide what they should do with their own bodies and with their own pregnancies. I would have a lot more respect for the conservatives on the court and for the conservatives in America if they supported abortion but did not support the death penalty. If you're concerned about life, you should be concerned about life at both ends of the spectrum. A baby should be born, which should also equate to the fact that a man should not be killed. But alas, this is where we find ourselves in this country. And I would have a lot more respect for conservatives on the court and conservatives in America if they believed that babies being born should also equate to babies being fed. Aid to dependent children should consequently, if you are against abortion, you should consequently and subsequently be for feeding children, the ones that you said had to be here. And even in cases of rape and incest, you should at least support clean water and clean air, since you think all babies should be born. But anyway, my concern about this decision does not simply bode well or ill for the future of abortion in America, but it has to deal with a whole class of personal and civil rights in America. Marriage equality, the Voting Rights Act, affirmative action. With this one sweeping sort of leaked decision, the court is signaling that it's willing to dethrone, uproot, and overturn other massive and important and significant precedents already set for personal rights and civil rights in this country. Every one of these fundamental rights are in jeopardy. Marriage equality, the Voting Rights Act, and affirmative action. And for all of you running around saying elections don't matter, and it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican, ask the millions of women today who learned last night that in June they're probably going to lose the right to decide what they can do with their bodies and their pregnancies. even in the case of rape and incest. All right, let's do some Ask Dr. Sean. Play the bumper, Hiley. All right, got a great video sent in by my dear brother Brandon, and all of you who want to send in videos, send your videos to askdr.sean@foxsoul.tv. We'd love to hear a video from you. This one is from Brandon. Let's take a look at it right now.
Hey, Dr. Sean, Brandon from Detroit, Michigan, reaching out to you. How do you leverage faith in your employer? What happens when what you do may not necessarily follow your faith or what your beliefs are? Would love to get a response from you.
Well, I almost feel like I need to know more information to answer this appropriately, right? I would need to know what is it that you're doing that doesn't line up with your faith. You know, you can make the case that almost any job, I mean, with big quotations on it, almost any job in capitalism at some point won't line up with your faith, because Christianity is not inherently capitalistic. It's egalitarian. It's for the common good. It's not for profit and winning and undermining and exploiting people. It's for the notion of us working together to build a society and a mutual respect and a beloved community. So I would need to know where, what's the tension, okay? But let me say this to you, whatever the tension is, don't think that any job you go to, you won't have to face that tension on some level. Now, of course, I don't know what the system of belief is that you happen to be talking about. Let's presume for a second it's Christianity or some major religion. There's always going to be tension. You won't get to avoid tension. How about this? If you worked at a church, there's going to be tension. Because wherever human beings are, that's where we are. And we bring all of our humanity to that. There's no institution, there's no job, there's no church, there's no nonprofit, there's no school that is immune from the craziness of being human. So even if you worked at a church or a synagogue or a mosque or a nonprofit of your choosing, at some point in that journey, there's going to be tension between what you believe and stand for and what people happen to be doing. And in some cases, what the institution happens to be advocating for. So let me answer your question succinctly and directly. You got to make a choice. It ain't that hard. You got to decide whether or not whatever this institution or job happens to be doing is so far out of the bounds of what you believe that it is no longer morally suitable for you to remain there. You got to make a decision. And it may not be a yes or no decision. It may be a not now, but coming soon decision. And that is to say, sometimes you have to sort of bite your tongue so that you can prepare for the thing you know you need to do. But in either case, you're going to have to make a decision about whether or not what you believe is more important to you than whatever financial security your job happens to be giving you. Okay? Because if you are being drugged so far away from your principles for the sake of your job, and you have to ask yourself, what have you really gained? For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Woo! Let's take a break, people. When we come back, I got some more Ask Dr. Sean for you right after this. Welcome back, everybody. So, how about we do some more Ask Dr. Sean? Listen to this. Someone DM'd me this question. I had a one-night stand with a man that I met at a club. He left his wallet in the car and asked me to pay for our hotel room, but he promised to repay me. We kept in touch, but he never mentions repaying me. Should I ask him for my money or just take the loss? This is actually an interesting question, right? I'm not sure if I know what to do on this. Well, listen, I think if someone promises to do something for you and they don't do it, you always have the right of self-respect to ask them about what it is they promised to do, especially since you kept in touch, okay? I'm not even touching the whole one-night stand thing. That's your business. That's what you want to do. I'm all for it. Enjoy yourself, all right? That's separate to me from someone promising to pay something and then deciding either that they didn't do it, couldn't do it, or forgetting about it altogether, all right? But you apparently want your money back. This is a big moral thing for you. So if it's that important for you to ask me about it, then it ought to be equally important for you to ask them for it. Don't ever feel bad about advocating for yourself, okay? All right? Just because the situation was a bit, salacious and, some might say, I'm not saying I say this, some might say seedy, and has nothing to do with the fact that there still could be moral content in the moment. And the moral content is this. It's kind of amazing to hear that there's moral content in a one-night stand, but it can be. Here it is. If somebody promised to pay something and they didn't do it, you get to bring it up. Now, I need to prepare you for a little something. Don't be surprised if they decide they don't want to pay you back. Don't be surprised if you don't get your money back. And I'll tell you why. You ready? You're not going to like this part. Because it was a one-night stand. It wasn't a relationship. There's no commitment. There's no relational virtue involved in it at all. Especially since the person hasn't, even bothered to remember that they even said it. And I'm not downing a one-night stand. I'm just saying when you go into these kind of situations, go into them with your eyes open. Know what you're getting yourself into, okay? And the fact that somebody claimed to leave their wallet in the car and had you paying for the hotel, that should have been a red flag to begin with, okay? I'm just saying. There's a lot I could say to that, but I'm not going to say it. Yeah, I think you get what I'm trying to, what I'm putting down. I hope you get your money back. No. Let me say it better. I hope you get your self-respect back. If you feel a certain way about what you didn't get, ask about it. I'm not sure if you're going to get your money, though. Okay? Yeah. Let me get out of this question. Let's take a look at this video.
Hi, Dr. Sean. My name is Shira Wright. I'm 26 years old, and I currently live in Florida. I just wanted to come on here for some advice and tips on how to get a guy to propose to me. I desire to be married, and I've had guys that say, I want to marry you, but then they never, get down on one knee and ask to marry me. So I wanted to know if I'm doing anything wrong, or do you have any suggestions?
Yes, I do have some suggestions. Here's the first one. Stop making being married the raison d'etre of your life. And that may be hard for people to hear because it's something that we're told that we should want. But the point I'm making is that when people know that you're needy or that you're desperate or that you're thirsty, that's usually when they take advantage of you. And that's usually when you start attracting people that you really don't want in your life. You see, the moment when you decide that you're fine where you are, you're fine as you are, and you're fine if whatever your dream scenario is doesn't happen, but you're clear about the fact that you will be all right, that's when the right person shows up, and they show up because they're attracted to the right parts of who you are. You see, getting someone to propose to you should not be the goal, all right? You being strong enough to live your life with or without the possibility of someone proposing to you, that should be your goal. Finding joy in exactly where you are, not holding your breath until you get to a certain part of the journey, but breathing along the way, smelling the flowers and enjoying all of the significances of life that avail themselves to you with or without a fiance or a husband. I don't think that women should hold their breath. I don't think that men should hold their breath, hoping and praying that some scenario manifests itself. Because life is too short. And what if the plan is that you don't get married? What if that's not part of the plan? And what if that never happens? Does that mean you've lived a bad life? Does that mean you're not going to be happy? I happen to think that those things should not equal each other. That being single is not a curse. Even if you want to be married, being single is not a curse, it's not a punishment. And that the way you end up being married is by enjoying yourself being single. Because men will be attracted to you when they see how much you are attracted to who you are. There's nothing more attractive to a man than another person, in this case a woman, who is in love with the life that she's living. She exudes a vibrance, a joy, a positivity. She exudes life. You follow me? And sometimes when a man is trapped in his cave, the only thing strong enough to draw him out is a woman dancing along the horizon, reminding him what life can be and what he's missing if he stays in the dark. So don't sit around and try to get a man to propose to you. It should be his honor to do it, not your desperation to need it. And attracting people out of desperation is a wonderful way to end up with somebody you ain't supposed to be with. So enjoy your life. Look good, feel good, eat good, drive good, work good, dream good, build good. And the goodness of the man you're supposed to have will be attracted to you. All right, real quick, someone emailed me this question. My sister is a 50-year-old gym instructor with an amazing body that she is not afraid to show off. We went to my son's graduation together and her outfit was so risque that I asked her to leave. How can I ask her to tone down how she dresses without hurting her feelings? Yeah, I gotta hurry up on this one. Leave her alone. If you 50 years old with a great body, let her just go ahead and show it and flaunt it. Leave that girl alone. I'm with her. You know what I'm saying? You 50-year-old, you got a great body. I would, if you think if I had a great body, I'd have this sweater on, I'd do this show shirtless. Leave her alone, man. You only live once. Thank you for watching tonight. Thank my guests for being on. Listen, I'll be back soon. Don't you go nowhere. Stick around. We got more great program for you. Y'all be good to each other, okay? Promise me you will. Because I love you. And ain't nothing you can do about it.